She is the boss at her workplace, so she menacingly orders her new intern to leave, but he replies, he has a overtime day. Even still she orders him to leave. After a while, she is at her home, and she realizes that guy almost finished everything. She then blushingly thoughts to herself that she should be more gentle with her workers, but it can't be helped for her, since she is automatically going into boss mode at work. Also she thinks to find a new partner to settle down with. Afterwards that new intern asks her to check his work to confirm it, to which she replies she will see it right now, with an irritated face. After checking it, she says it's good, and then she leaves, while the other worker congratulating the intern. Because of him their boss looks a little happy. Meanwhile on inside she thoughts to herself that they got a promising new intern, because he is doing a great job at his projects. After returning home she blushingly thinks about that new intern, because every newcomers normally run away after seeing her attitude, and she once again decides to talk to her subordinates more, to be in a good relationship. But at the next day, she was thinking about something, which made her subordinates to think that their boss might be worried about a new project or something. But in truth she was worrying about doing a welcome party for newcomers, because last year she invited every newcomers like a work harassment, so they left the company. Plus she needs to find their taste in alcohol too. While she is worrying about it, that new intern calls her, and he invites her to have lunch with him. But this caught her off guard. And everyone in the company, afterwards they finished eating the food. She then thinks to herself that he might be annoyed by her, since she only talked about work while eating food. So she apologizes to him for being a boring person, to which he replies, that she is not a boring person. Also with this he can see how seriously she is taking the job as a boss. She then suddenly realizes that she can't have an intern to pay for food, because it might be too expensive for him. As a result she puts a card in the payment box, to which he stops her by saying that he can't let a woman pay for him, which quickly shocks her and her face turns red. But then she turns into her company mode, and tells that intern to shut up and let her pay. Also she asks him to stop using gender for everything. Afterwards at her home, she is lying in her bed, and while tapping her legs on the bed she thinks she should not have acted that way towards him, just to hide her shame. Since even after she angrily told him to stop looking down at her just because she is a woman, he still insisted on paying for himself. She then with a flustered face, thinks to herself that he was treating her as a woman. At the next day she wakes up thinking she didn't get good sleep because of what happened yesterday. After that she gets up and started to do a walking, while wearing a sweatshirt. Suddenly she notices a dress shop, and she buys a cute dress. So she says that she got a good exercise after buying that dress. After returning she takes quick selfie with that dress. In the end she runs away by saying that it's too much womanly for a girl like her. At the next day, at the office that new intern says that he wants to tell her something. And he goes on by asking to her whether if she was at a dress shop yesterday. Which shocks her, and she quickly realizes that he wouldn't know what she bought, so she is safe. But to her surprise he says that he saw someone that looks exactly like her, leaving from a clothes shop with a huge smile on her face. As a result she menacingly calls that guy to have a drink with her today. Hearing this other employees get scared because she said it like she is really angry. After arriving there, he says this place looks really expensive. But she still invites him in by saying that wouldn't be a problem, since it's like a welcome party too. Which shocks him. And he goes on by thinking why is she celebrating it. All of a sudden she gets down on her knees by asking him to not tell anyone on what he saw at the dress shop. Which caught that guy off guard and he tells her to lift her head. She then blushingly explains to him that a boss at work can't wear a fancy and flirty dress. And then while trembling she waits for his answer. After hearing it he was confused since she said frilly dress. And this shocked her because he didn't see her clothes that she brought, rather a sweatshirt. She then with a flustered face comes to a realization that she just exposed herself. Afterwards she started to worry by thinking that was a bad judgment. That guy then awkwardly asks to her on what she wants to order. To which she replies it's a beer, and she goes on by asking him to keep quiet of this with everyone. He quickly accepts it, and orders a beer and a tea. She then thoughts to herself that she will trust him for now. All of a sudden he says that he thinks it's not weird looking for her to wear fancy clothes. He then suddenly says that he wants to see her in that fancy clothes, which made her to blush. As a result she started drink while thinking it's actually making her happy and embarrassed because he is younger than her. In the end she replies that she will think about wearing it in front of him one day. Afterwards she realizes that he only drank tea until now, so she questions whether if he doesn't drink alcohol at all, to which he says yes, and slowly asks whether if he should drink a little bit. She then asks him to stop because everyone has their own drinking time. In the end she says sorry to him for asking, which shocks him because bosses don't apologize to rookies like him. And he goes on by asking if she is not going to threaten him to not talk about her hobbies about buying clothes to anyone, which confuses her, and she says why would she have to do that? Since she is the one that's asking him a favor. Also she is kinda relieved that he knows about her pastime hobbies, which shocks him, but she goes on by saying that she will drink everything if he doesn't want to drink. All of a sudden she wakes up thinking that's what she remembers, until she woke up in an unfamiliar ceiling. Afterwards she takes that side of the bedsheet and realizes that nothing is sleeping next to her, which made her to get relief. She then goes on by thinking if others were to find out that their boss is messing with a new hire, it will be a problem for both of them. Finally she realizes that she is not wearing any clothes. Also it looks like she is sleeping in a business hotel. After wearing that random dress, she realizes that her clothes are all over the room. In the end she concludes that it must her that removed it by thinking it's too hard to breathe. And no matter how hard she tries she can't remember on how she got here. She then gets a notification, which is from that new intern, and he thanks her for the dinner he had with her yesterday. She is once again confused because she can't remember when she exchanged her contact details. Afterwards he started to message that he got really worried after she got drunk, but meanwhile she showed him a lot of things. He then goes on by asking to her on when she is going to show him the other dresses. Suddenly she remembers that she showed him her new dress that she bought. Afterwards he asks her on where she bought this dress, to which she invites him to join her when they get a next day off, which shocks her because she just casually asked him out while being a drunk head. And then they exchange their contact info, and when she finally decided to leave she was really drunk, so he thought it was really dangerous for her to go alone. As a result he booked a business hotel room that was nearby. He even carried her all the way to her room, plus she even made him to pay. And after getting her to the room, he rushed off because he had to catch his last train. Afterwards she started thinking that she made him do all of this, so she should properly apologize to him in the future, for his gentlemanness. She then blushingly wishes to not cross that line with him. Because of that she got a date to attend. After a while when their date is getting near, she decides to do her work more properly, until her next day off comes. After seeing her, everyone thinks that their boss is in high spirit today. One of them still thinks that she is scary. She then suddenly smiles while blushing because she is going on a date with a young guy, which shocks everyone, and one of them thinks what did this rookie did to their boss. Afterwards it was finally Friday, and she leaves her office by saying bye to that new intern, which he says it back while bowing down to her. He then looks at her while smiling. After returning to her home she started to get flustered because tomorrow is her date with a new intern, and then she quickly decides to stop thinking about it, since she has a lot to prepare for tomorrow. As a result she quickly opens a laptop, and wears a glass after tying her hair. She thinks it was her who invited him, so she should take the lead on their tomorrow date. Afterwards she started to search what to wear for tomorrow. She then decides to try everything, and wears something which looks like a sportswear. So she wears something that looks sexy, which is also a no-go. In the end she wears that frilly fancy dress, which made her to blush. In the end she throws it away thinking this is also a no-go. After folding them in an order, she lies in her bed thinking she can't decide on what to wear. She then thinks that she can't sleep. Also for some reason she feels like she is floating in some good emotions, and she quickly decides it might be because she is going on a date with a young guy. Also she already promised to him. All of a sudden she gets shocked because she never told him on what are they going to do tomorrow. And she started panic since she might be the one that is thinking it's a date. Afterwards at the next day she arrives in that place, thinking that she went with a safe choice. Also she can't afford to be late so she arrived early, and he might not even think this is a date. But to return the favor of that hotel bill, she have to make sure he gets happy today. Afterwards he arrives, and calls her chief. He then blushingly says that he feels weird to call her chief outside the office. So he asks her to give permission to call her by her name, but she got shocked to see his fit. And while she is being flustered he replies that if it's okay for him to call her by her name because they are here to date. She then goes on by saying that it looks like he ran all the way to get here, but he doesn't need to worry since she just got here. Also, he can call this whatever he thinks. Afterwards, while walking, she thinks to herself that she is glad to know he is thinking today as a date. Also, he has cute face. Afterwards, she gives back the money he paid for the hotel, to which he says he doesn't mind at all, but she still gives it to him. After receiving it, he blushingly says that they should use this money for the lunch they are about to have. All of a sudden, she gets flustered and turns back while thinking that he looks really cute, and why didn't she knew it before? Afterwards, when he says about lunch, she suddenly tells him to not worry about it because she already made a reservation for them. He then replies that he also did some preparation for today. So they started to compare their preparation, and it's almost the same, which made him to think he is glad that he did research on what she might like. After hearing it, she gets happy by thinking, as expected of him, he is doing a good job. But then she gets embarrassed because she did some research by herself too. Afterwards, they finished eating meals, and while wiping her mouth, she thought to herself that she was really nervous that she couldn't able to understand what he was saying. After that, she says that they should get going. He then blushingly says he is looking forward to go to shopping with her. Meanwhile, she is really nervous, but still she is looking forward for this too. Afterwards, she takes a scarf and thoughts to herself that she won't be going on another date with a guy anymore, so they should go to the promising land together. Quick character break. And first off, her name is Tsundere Masaki, who is a 32-year-old and the most talented person who got to a manager posting in a young age. Until recently, she wasn't interested on marriage, which is until she met her new intern. Meanwhile, he is the new intern. Afterwards, coming to the clothes shop, he was shocked to see everything. And he says that he also likes cute things, so because of it, he is excited to come here. After that, he picks up a cute dress by showing it to her. But this caught her off guard and she thoughts to herself that he is the cuter one here. Also, her heart just skipped a beat, and she asks to him if he is going to try it on. To which he replies, no, but rather, he says he wants to see her in this cute dress. As a result, she first gets embarrassed, but after realizing she won't find a guy that likes this type of cute things, she just accepts to put on this dress. Afterwards, she blushingly asks him to not laugh at her. After wearing it, she gets embarrassed since it's actually tight to wear. Also, he is not responding anything. But then while blushing, he says that it's really cute, and quickly takes it back, and says it really suits her. Meanwhile, she is at her limit since he is someone that likes her hobbies. Moreover, he slipped and said that she is cute. Afterwards, she asks him to wear something cute as well, since they have some cute things for boys to wear as well. After a while, they choose a dress, and he comes out and asks to her on how he looks. To which she replies it not that good, which made him to get relieved because he thought he would not wear this type of dress. After seeing it, she thinks to herself that it's really cute. In the end, both of them bought a dress. Afterwards, he leaves her to get to the toilet. And she goes on by thinking that she brought some cute stuffs with him. Also, she is feeling great to have someone to come along with her hobbies and buy stuffs. She then goes on by thinking that she might be asking too much because she is now secretly hoping for more than friendship with him. Plus, that guy also thinks today is a date, so she should play along here. All of a sudden, she gets shocked, since two random guys asked her if she is free for today. She then gets irritated and replies that she already got a plan for today, so she declines their invite, which scared one guy. But other guy says even though she is scary, she is beautiful, so they have to approach her. Meanwhile, she is panicking on inside because she doesn't know what to do. All of a sudden, that guy grabs her hands by saying it should be fine because she is alone. She then started getting panic, because she used to easily remove that hand if she puts power, but for some reason she can't do it right now, and she realizes it might be because of her lack of sleep. And then she started to ask for help inside her mind. All of a sudden, he arrives and grabs their hands. After seeing him, she gets happy, but those guys didn't stop there and they tells him to step back, while giving an angry look. But when he tries to move him, he couldn't able to move him. Afterwards, he shows them his forehead, which got a scare in it, but he says that he won't let anyone to lay a hand on someone he cares for, which shocks him, but for her, she was fully flustered. In the end, they left her alone. And while going, he asks his friend on why he really got scared, to which he replies how can he be not scared after seeing someone that scary. Afterwards, they got caught by the police. In the end, he says that he is glad that they took that lie he said. But she is still panicking on inside since he looked like a different person right now. Also, he said that she is someone that's precious to him. Afterwards he started to put his hair back in front while saying sorry to her for showing something insightful. He then goes on by saying that he got this scare from his school days. Also in his hometown he got made fun after seeing his scare, so he decided to hide it, plus he trained to fight because of this reason. Even though he didn't intended to show it, he had no intention to hold back when she was in danger. To which she replies that she finally got calmed down, and then she gets close to him, while thinking that it's true because of that scar, she did got saved. But then he started to blush, and she thinks to herself that she jumped in to touch it without thinking. And then she stops and says the truth about going to touch it, but she realizes he won't like it. To which he replies that people normally tends to get disgusted and avoid him, but then she blushingly asks him to be proud of it because she doesn't think it's bad. Which made him to blush, and he says even if she likes his scare it's not cute, plus he doesn't like his scare. As a result she started to think about something. Afterwards she started to take something from her backpack, which was a makeup kit, and she happily suggests that they should hide his scare with makeup. This made him to look forward for it, but she started to blush since she can't put makeup right now in the public, so the only possible place is their home. And she goes on by thinking that she decided to go back to her home. After that, while blushing, she says that she wants to go back to her home before it gets dark. To which he just says okay, and then she goes on by saying that she did told him that she will teach him makeup. Also lots of scary things happened to her today, because of that she doesn't want to go alone on her way back to home. She then goes on by asking him to escort her back to her home, which made him to blush as well, and he asks to her if it's okay to do it, to which she blushingly looks at him, and he accepts her hand. After going back in the train, she realizes that she likes that new intern. Also she was really excited for the whole time. Plus she decides to take any responsibility that might happen in her home with him. And suddenly she remembers the clothes she left in the house before leaving for the date. Even though she asked him to escort her back, she still needs to address the thing he said about her as an important person. Also he has a cute face with a strong fighting skills, which is making her to feel at ease and calming just to be by his side. Afterwards she started to feel sleepy because of the lack of sleep she got tonight. And she goes on by sleeping in his shoulders. Afterwards at night, she was shocked because they came to a random place. And he goes on by saying sorry since he dozed off a little bit, plus he didn't ask her on where she lives. Suddenly she turns back, and she started to think on what she should do because it's her fault for sleeping and not telling him where she lives. Meanwhile he was looking something in his phone and says okay. Afterwards he grabs her hands while saying that he found a good place for them to stay. But all she is thinking that he is holding her hands. Also where are they going? In the end they arrives at the restaurant, and he tells to her that he is glad that they made it in here before they close. But she is not eating, so he asks her if she is hungry. In the end she started to eat it, while having a thought that she had impure thoughts for no reason, which is making her to get embarrassed. After eating she asks him to take a short walk with her to cool her down. And so they goes on a small walk. She then thinks that she got calmed down, and she thoughts to herself that it doesn't look like he will accompany her to her home anymore, because they already had their dinner too. Right after saying it, her legs trips. As a result her legs started to hurt. Afterwards she slowly stands on her legs, thinking that she never made this type of mistakes on job, but on date she is keep on doing something like this. Afterwards they sees a building in the distance and they decides to take a break, but she blushingly thinks, no, because it's too long, and all of a sudden he lifts her up, and this shocked her. While blushing she says it's kind of embarrassing to get princess carried in her age. As a result he puts her down by saying he got carried away in the impulse. But still he asks her that this road is really sturdy so it might get worse. As a result he started to give her a piggyback ride. After a while she says that he feels like a real man, but then she gets embarrassed to see a love hotel nearby. After that he puts her down since they got to a main road. He then goes on by slowly asking her to come with him. By ignoring the love hotel completely, he then books a taxi and says an address for him to go. But she just silently looks at him doing it. Afterwards she goes on by thinking that she thought he was in the mood to get in that hotel, but it was really foolish of her to get her hopes up, and suddenly she realizes he is holding her hands like they're lovers. All of a sudden he started to say that he thought it will be better to stay in the hotel, however he now wants to spend more time with her, plus he wants to cherish the relationship he has with her now, and this made her to blush while thinking that he is really sincere right now. Afterwards they bought tablets for her pain. In the end they arrived at her house, but she quickly takes her card to do the payment. To which he He would have paid the half of the price. She then tells him to let his boss do this at least. Afterwards she asks him on what he is going to do now, since it's pretty late, to which he replies he will take care of it, also he missed the last train. Suddenly she blushingly says that she is not asking as a superior but as a regular woman to come to her home and stay for tonight. Which shocks him and he goes on saying that they should have thought about this before. As a result she blushingly thoughts to herself that she knew he will say that because he is an earnest guy, but on the other hand she can't hold back any longer. After saying it her leg slips, so he tries to catch her, but this made her to get really close. And he slowly asks if she is okay with him staying. She then with a flustered face once again invites him to his home. But then he quickly proposed her his love. Since it's their first date he decided to take the first initiative. Meanwhile her head went blank. And she started to slowly think on what just happened right now, but he is waiting for her answer. After realizing it, she started to have tears in her eyes while asking him to take care of her, plus she also likes him. She then goes on by saying that she is really happy that her eyes got teary, to which he started to smile, and he leans in for the kiss. After doing it he asks if she got calmed down, to which she blushingly replies that she got startled and now she got calmed down. In the end both of them decides to get inside her room. Afterwards he made her to sit in the sofa, she then asks him to sit on the sofa plus he doesn't need to hold back. Afterwards she blushingly thoughts to herself that for some reason she got herself a boyfriend. He then started to talk about her room, but she thinks maybe now she can do it with him, since they're currently couples. She then goes on by thinking that she is not good at handling romantic relationship, even though he said he likes her, she is not sure what part of her he likes. Also at her work, everyone is scared of her. Afterwards she calls him, and she removes her hair clip, and she goes on by asking him on what part of her he likes, which made him to blush. However, on the other hand she started to get worried whether she asked the wrong question. On top of that he started to scratch his chin, which is like he is now feeling awkward to answer. But to her surprise he says that she is really beautiful and her body shape is really cute, plus she really diligent with her work which makes him want to respect her. But then she got embarrassed since he said it directly. He then goes on by thinking that he got a lot of reasons to say why he fell for her, to which she just thanks him. But she is still confused because she never had an experience like this before since she was always working for the company until now. Suddenly he grabs her head and brings her closer to him. After getting really close, he suddenly started to ask her approval to continue. Meanwhile she is thinking that her consciousness is fading away. All of a sudden she changes the topic, by taking out the makeup kit she bought earlier. While having a thought that she wouldn't able to hold back if it continues, since it's too early for that to happen. In the end she picks the product she wants to use, and turns his scare into a skin. While he is looking at himself, she thinks that he got more cuter than before, which is actually making her heart to beat faster.